you guys like. Tell us about you. What have you felt? What's happening with the real levies? Are you feeling your complexes there's a lot of non-payment, or are people complying with COVID? And what are you thinking about the future? What's going to happen next year? Do you think there'll be some sort of people will be battling to pay from now?
Yeah, Marina, if I can start off, we haven't had as many bad payers as we thought we would have. But I understand that might get worse next year. That is what the fear is. The business is not going to pick up as much or as quickly. And the people who have been using their reserves are going to run out of those and find themselves in trouble. We found two things during COVID. I found two things. One is that people chose to not do as much maintenance and to try and waive some of the 10-year plan levy and to push the 10-year plan out. They saw that rather than actually reduce the operational levy, which was okay. And then also, instead of handing a debt over to an attorney, which just added to the fees and the financial difficulty of the debtor, we allowed them to enter into an acknowledgement of debt as soon as they were able to pay the full levy. So, for example, for many of them, that was about August. So they were in arrears for April, May, June, and July. They then signed an acknowledgement of debt that they would start paying the full levy from August, and we would allow them 6 months or longer, depending on their capacity, up to 8 months, in which to pay off the arrears. Then there was quite a debate amongst trustees. Some trustees agreed to stop interest as long as they complied with their arrear levy payment. And some said, no, that's not fair on other owners who've had to pay interest, and they continue charging interest. But certainly that acknowledgement of debt worked, and people, most of them, are sticking to that payment.
Great, thanks, Barbara. Thank you, Leanne. Harrison, you've got your hand raised. That's very civilized.
Hi there, my name is Leanne. I'm from Pam Golding Property Management Services.
Welcome.
What I found was I manage a lot of big estates, mostly far out from where I live, and most likely the meetings are generally after hours. And for instance, I've got estates in Hout Bay, Noordhoek, Stellenbosch, and what helped me was with the Zoom meetings, you know, as a female, driving home at 10 o'clock at night from Hout Bay isn't safe for anybody even. So the opportunity to have Zoom meetings that are just as effective as having a meeting in person really helped. And going forward, my Noordhoek meeting, we will only do Zoom meetings now. And they're happy with that. I'm happy with it. It didn't change the work or getting work done or getting action items out. It actually made it more efficient. So that was the one sort of positive from my side. And what I really enjoy is the hybrid meetings. So I've got an AGM next week in Southern Cape. I'll be going to Southern Cape. However, all the owners are joining on Zoom. And I've become quite a techie. So it's quite easy to have the meeting on Zoom. I know how to run them. We do dummy runs before the meeting for those sort of older owners who aren't as well versed as others. So generally we hold the 2 meetings. We show them how it works. We prepared on our side like a how-to Zoom sort of manual for all our owners. So when we send the AGM packs out, we send the manual with it. We send reminders. We ask if they have questions. We're happy to have the little Zoom runs with them if it's just one-on-one. So I found that in that way we've adapted to all of this.
Sure. No, I was waiting for somebody to talk about Zoom meetings, Leanne, because for me also with all our legal work, I mean, we can't keep up with the number of Zoom meetings that we're doing. And it's owners, trustees, whoever, just one after the other. And I think it's really helpful. Yeah. It's totally well done. Quincy.
Thanks, Marina.
Thanks, Quincy, I see you've got a question.
Yes, I do. I actually just wanted to touch on, I think Barbara, who was speaking before about the outstanding levies and stuff, because we tried to implement the same thing in one of our complexes to give the acknowledgement of debt and give them about 6 months to sort of pay everything over without incurring interest. And I think my question was, then we started to see owners who were owing way before COVID, have had outstanding levies for like a really long time, try to kind of piggyback off of this new process. So my question was, how did you guys deal with that scenario, if at all you actually did see that, where people were then trying to take advantage of the COVID situation to try and sort of get away with not paying their levies or not adhering to the initial arrangements?
Yes, Quincy, we did see that, but we were quite firm on that. If you were in arrears prior to March, we did not accommodate you. You would probably, and legal process just continued. We did not accommodate them at all. And we were quite tough on the people who did say that they couldn't pay because of COVID. We didn't just accept their word for it. They had to show us that they owned a restaurant, worked in a restaurant, the restaurant closed down. They were teachers, they were, you know, paid off. Pilots, I have a lot of pilots, and they couldn't fly, and their salary was cut down to about 10%. So we asked for some validation of the fact that it was COVID that forced them to go into arrears.
Brilliant. Thank you, Barbara. There was another participant who wanted to ask a question. We're just not telling me who, so just come in whenever you like.
Hi, I did raise my hand, and I just wanted to mention in terms of the Zoom meetings, I've been advocating utilizing Zoom from a point of view of social distancing. But what I find, it's been an incredible success rate of attendance. I find that a lot of people on my properties that have sorted from Johannesburg and Cape Town have managed to come in, even international, and they've sort of found it very valuable to them in the meetings. As well as the voting side, we've been using a company called VMS Solutions that have been running both our HOAs and our body corporates. I sort of manage quite a lot of the HOA side. My other PMs sort of manage the body corporates, and we've just so enjoyed having our Zoom meetings. I must be honest, we've gone a little bit over the top. We've created presentations. So we run a full-on presentation, a PowerPoint presentation with our Zoom meetings. I mean, you don't have to go to that extent, but the owners have really enjoyed it. The information has been valuable, and I have to say, to me, it's the new norm, you know, going forward, be it a 5-man directors meeting or a 7-man, 7 trustees meeting. I've sort of had HOAs meetings of 38, 65 people in attendance. And the company that we utilize runs an audio explaining the voting beforehand. So the voting is all effective. They do an audit report afterwards. And to me, it's just fantastic. Plus, I don't have to drive home late at night, which is another benefit, an added benefit.
For me, that's like for women especially, and speaking to all our male colleagues in managing agencies. I mean, you know, you're sitting at your table, your children are there, you know, and hopefully not making too much noise, but at least it's not this nighttime going out for ages and hours, because I think that's really where your high turnover of portfolio managers comes from. I really
your fur baby is lying on the couch next to you as well.
Well, Barbara, that's the most important thing. How is Amy?
Lovely, thank you.
Just educating your trustees and your directors does take a little bit of time, because they're so used to that face-to-face and getting into a boardroom and sitting together, and that has taken a bit of adjusting. But I find now a lot of people are happy to say, we'll have a meeting, but we'll do, and that works for me.
100%.
Thank you. Thanks, Marina.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And we're going to do a last draw here for a 1,500 Rand Take a Lot voucher that's sponsored by ZD Fin. So let's just see. Leanne Harrison.
Yay!
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Well done.